Successful or not, are some legal defenses so morally repugnant that they simply shouldn't be allowed? It's hard not to wonder when a case comes up like one recently in Texas, where a 16-year-old, driving drunk, killed 4 people and received no jail time for it. None at all. Why? At least one significant part was their successful defense called Affluenza. In other words, the defense argued this teenager, because they had grown up in an affluent setting which insulated them from the natural consequences of many of their actions, had dulled their moral accountability and ethical sensitivity, and therefore couldn't be held fully responsible for getting behind the wheel drunk and subsequently killing, dare I say, murdering 4 innocent people. So many questions, not the least of which is, if the driver had been poor, they would be more morally accountable? Forget the tensions about whether or not our legal system treats rich and poor fairly. This is an argument where it's not fair or less fair because of the defense they can buy, but that literally the life they've led up till the crime may actually make them more or less defensible. On the other hand, shouldn't life circumstances play some role in thinking about how offenders are punished? It's an old question. Is the punishment meant to fit the crime or the criminal? I don't know, but it seems to me that the Affluenza defense, no matter how much we believe that crime should fit the criminal, is taking things grossly too far, especially as this comes out in a week when a major study at Yale University's Baby Lab claims that moral sensibility may actually, at least in large part, be inbred and have nothing to do with what we learn from parents, teachers, or how much money or how little money we have in life. In fact, I wrote about this in a piece called "Do Babies Have a Moral Compass?" at thewisdomdaily.com. And I left that piece and leave this question with the same sense that, in fact, the New York Times article, which covered the Affluenza defense, reminds us that context does matter. And we probably do need more compassion for offenders than so-called law and order people have. On the other hand, the Baby Lab study reminds us that much of this has nothing to do with the context of our lives. And so we also have to offer fewer excuses based on them. The interesting thing is, could we create a culture that combined fewer excuses and more compassion, greater accountability, and more genuine understanding? Interestingly, that combination stands at the core of every great religious tradition I know, which understands that compassion and accountability not only can be put together, but they must be.